Hey there guys and gals, the Introvert Oddball here, and today we're going to do a ranking video. This is gonna be a ranking video for all the 2019 shows and movies that I've seen. So first off, we're gonna do what else? We're gonna do the TV shows first, and then we'll move on to the movies, the 10 movies that I saw just last year. So, there are overall 3 TV shows that I've like 100% fully completed that I'm gonna talk about today. Pinky Malinky, which is a show that I'm just getting on, like right now at Netflix. I've only just sat down watched the first episode, and now I'm gonna see the second episode soon. And Gravity Falls is a show that I've actually started getting myself into it. For a while I didn't really get into the show. I could see what, made people love the show, but to be honest with you, I just didn't like it because, I just thought it was some really overrated, like, Disney show. And while, yeah, it's definitely overrated, I think. In my opinion, I think it's 100% overrated, but it's still good. It's a really great show. I think it was, for a while I was just watching it for, I was just watching it for the sake of just watching it. But by the time I got into, the Time Traveler's Pig episode, I got up to, that episode. It was either that or, the episode with, the 8.5 President of the United States of America. I've forgotten what the title was. That I really started to get interested in the show. And yeah, I actually really do like the show. I actually didn't like it at first, but I actually really do. I actually really do enjoy the show. I've actually, as of right now, only just watched, recently, the Boss Mabel episode, so I'm still, watching season 1, so that's why I'm not going to review it, because I haven't, sat down and seen the entire season just yet, so, yeah, but it is interesting, but it is a pretty interesting show, and it has actually had some moments that genuinely have made me chuckle and laugh, that have made me laugh and chuckle at the same time, so yeah, I'm not going to review those shows, or at least I'm not going to review those shows. So today, the 3 cartoons that we're going to rank are Hilda Season 1, Over the Garden Wall, and 12 Forever. So, let's start off with our third option, which is, I'm going to show you right now. Oh, hold on. I've got no internet in this area, so I'm just going to have to get internet real quick. And hold on, we're having some technical difficulties. You know what? I'll just tell you what the actual show is. Oh god, this is so unprofessional. Alright, so the third show that I'm ranking today is 12 Forever. So, what are my thoughts on 12 Forever? 12 Forever was another show that I got into thanks to the Roundtable. For those who don't know, the Roundtable is shoot, I just hit my crap on the wall. But yeah, 12 Forever was this show that dropped around Netflix around July of last year by Julia Vickerman. It was a show that just dropped last year, and for a while I didn't really get into it. I heard about it, and just so many people. I actually found a piece of fan art. That's how I first found out about the show. I first found out about the show thanks to a piece of fan art I saw. And then I saw so many other people just talk about 12 Forever and saying how good it was, so eventually I gave in and I checked the show out for myself. So, what's there to talk about, this show, 12 Forever? Well, 12 Forever is a pretty bright and colorful show. It really gives me, huge, early Adventure Time vibes, where the show was just so bright and colorful before it, got all serious and stuff when the later seasons arrived. But, yeah, 12 Forever is a pretty bright and colorful little wacky show that dropped around last year. It's basically about this girl, Reggie, just coming in terms, it's sort of like a coming-of-age story of her, she's 12 years old and she's about to become, a teenager, and she's not quite, like, you know, ready to become a teenager, so she essentially becomes the Peter Pan of this show, and creates this entire world filled with all, like, her childhood, like, toys and stuff, and, like, ventures in them. So what is good about 12 Forever? Well, I actually really like its bright and colorful animation. I actually do like that, and actually, yeah, I like how bright and colorful it is. I think, like, the world of Endless is pretty unique and interesting, especially when we get up to the A Stranger Forever episode, I think, where we find out that there are, like, more islands, and there's, like, an entire space, and it turns out, like, you can, like, if you stay there forever, you get, like, you completely, like in the Spring Break Forever episode, like, you can get, like, completely, like, well, you can like, stay there forever, and you can, like, get, like, really, like, really high and stuff, or at least that's what, the show, like, shows us it, and so, basically, it's a pretty interesting, like, world that they go to, and, well, some of the characters are pretty annoying. I will say that I actually did like a few of the creatures that they have, the few of the toys and stuff. And it also is kind of, like, pretty weird how they can just enter Endless. Like, they can, like, open up portals and, like, go into this world. Like, it's so weird. Especially when you watch that, Spring Break Forever episode with, Esther and Todd in it. One of my thoughts on, like, the main characters. Reggie, I thought, was pretty interesting, and I could understand, like, her not wanting to grow up, so she essentially becomes this Peter Pan character, and for a while I could see, you know, like, her not wanting to, like, you know, grow up and stuff, but Reggie, I think, is extremely annoying to put through. If you watch, like, episodes like, Mall Forever, like, M-A-L-L, Mall Forever, I think that's what the episode was called, I'm not quite sure, like, she just acts so, like, childish and stuff, and everyone just wants her to grow up, and, like, I understand that's the point of the character, but after a while, to me, it can get pretty repetitive of her character, especially in the later episodes where she, like, shuns Brown Roger, and Brown Roger works for, like, the Butt Witch. Yes, that is the villain's name. Butt Witch. I know, you're probably smashing your face against the keyboards by that name. But yeah, like, she's, like, she's so selfish, and, like, so fucking, like, bratty-ish, and it's just, ugh. Especially in, like, the later episodes when she, like, attacks her friends over these, like, little things, like, you know, like, not wanting Todd to, like, bring his girlfriend Gwen over. It's so it's so annoying and so boring to watch. And what are my thoughts on, Todd? Todd, I thought, was actually pretty cool and collective. In fact, if you look at me with the long hair, I actually kind of look like Todd with the long hair back then. Like, put a picture of me with me with long hair and put it right next to Todd. I mean, I can't do that because I don't have an editing software. But, like, if you look at pictures of me with, like, the long hair and with Todd, like, I actually somewhat look like him. Does that mean I have the same personality as him? No. Todd for a while is actually pretty calm and collective, and he's actually a really supportive friend towards Reggie. But it can get pretty annoying when he starts complaining about stuff like, oh, I didn't want to, you know, babysit Brown Roger. I only come to Endless Island to, you know, get away from babysitting because I have, like, 3 sisters. Like, I can understand that. Like, I can understand the stress of babysitting. I have to do that, like, all the time with my nephew. It's a pretty hard time. I can understand where he's coming from. I know some kids couldn't, which could mean they could find him pretty annoying, but overall I could see where he was coming from. But when he starts complaining about stuff like how like, you know, like how Esther, like, screwed up his audition even though she was just trying to help him, and him just breaking guitars and saying things like, I wanted to do something more realer than this world, and he starts barfing up, like, those little worms that, you know, that make those little hate worms, which makes the Butt Witch more demented and stuff. And it's just so annoying. It's like, oh my god, who the hell cares? I know I could have just put in the actual clip, but I chose not to. But still, it can get pretty repetitive. But other than that, I think he's really cool. And I especially like how in the end they all reconcile. Although, I still feel like it was done pretty cheaply. At least with Hilda, when Hilda and Frida, like, you know, fight, you know, when they fight, it takes, like, a few episodes for them to reconcile and stuff. But with Todd, like, Esther, like, all Reggie does is, like, show them, like, a burn mark that, I think Big Deal, gave her, and, like, you know, it convinces them to go back to Endless. I don't know why. I just think that's pretty, cheap writing. But other than that, this does seem, it's a pretty enjoyable show for the most part, even if you have to deal with a lot of teen angst and, you know, just, you know, having insecurities and stuff. I think that's, you know, what annoys the show. And this show, I had, like, when I first started watching this show, I actually had a lot of love for it. I was actually really digging it. I thought this could be a new show that I fall in love with. But then I found out about the news of Julia Vickerman lusting over a 14-year-old boy, and she posted it on her Tumblr, like, blog. There are tons of videos of it online. You can just search up Julia Vickerman, and there are, like, tons of these videos, of her being a pedophile. But to put it simply, Julia Vickerman, back in 2010, and went to this little fair, and she found this 14-year-old emo boy, and just essentially lusted after him, and she creepily, like, talks about it, and she even uses the hashtag, like, pedophile, which means she's, like a proud, like, pedophile, and they say women can't be pedophile, and you know they're full of crap when they say that. And so, yeah, that, in fact, you know what's interesting? I actually didn't want to believe these allegations were true. But after watching some videos about it, I eventually, you know, came to the conclusion that this was indeed true. And it's just, like, this, like, these, like, everyone blames it all on Netflix because of, like, their terrible advertising. It's only, like, the small YouTube channels that actually, like, you know, explain why 12 Forever suffered. But, like, how? Like, Julia Vickerman, if you're watching this, like, how could you be this stupid? How could you be this stupid? Like, there goes your career. There goes all your opportunities at finding another job. 'Cause your opportunities are gone. Forever. See what I did there? But yeah, in all seriousness, when I found out about this, it actually killed all my love. All the love I had for the show was just killed. And the only reason why I kept watching the show was just to essentially just watch the entire season and just get over it. So, yeah, that is why 12 Forever is number 3 on the list. I could have loved that show. This show had, the show had such potential. Oh well, I guess we still have other 2 shows, so what's the next show, you may be asking? It is none other than Over the Garden Wall. So, what is Over the Garden Wall about? Over the Garden Wall is a mini-series that aired from Cartoon Network back in 2014. Back in 2014, about 5.5 years ago. It's about this little boy, this boy Wirt and his half brother, I'm not sure, named Greg or Gregory, like, going into this forest with the unknown, and they're, like, trying to find their way back home with the aid of a bird called Beatrice. So when I first heard about the show back in 2018, when Let Me Explain Studios actually made an animation video about it, made a little story time draw video back in 2018, and so therefore I got pretty interested in Over the Garden Wall, and so I checked it out, and to my surprise, it was pretty enjoyable. I still think it's pretty enjoyable. It's an absolute, like, it's a great mini-series that aired. Like, I just love, like, the horror and the suspense of it. Like, there's so much, like, disturbing, like, creatures they have to, like, come across. And I especially adore the animation. Like, the animation is so gorgeous. It's literally done in this, like, 1920s, like, old-styled, like, cartoons. Like, what cartoons were, like, used to be. And it's done so well, and it's done, like, so, like, creatively. And and so what are my thoughts on, the characters? Let's start off with Wirt. Wirt's actually pretty good. Albeit he's a bit bland, considering he's the, you know, the scaredy cat of the group. Like, I haven't seen that trope being, like, done before, but he's pretty interesting. His design is absolutely pretty unique, and stuff. I think it's absolutely unique and stuff, and is absolutely, like, unique and stuff, and, you know, I think he's a pretty, you know, actually, it's just now occurred to me that I can't think of any positives for him. To be honest with you, I think he's a pretty bland character, but I like his, but I like how in the end he's determined to get Greg back. I think that's, you know, I think that's a pretty good amount of character growth, like, you know, going from a scaredy cat to, like, you know, looking, like, just literally dying to search for his, you know, for his brother and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and stuff. But other than that, I thought he was a pretty bland character. Well, to be honest with you, I could be, you know, I can't be thinking of, like, any positives at the moment, and, like, when I'm done making this video, I bet you're like, I'll think of something positive for it, and then I'm gonna be super mad at myself for, like, you know, not, like, thinking of that when I made the video. But yeah, let's move on to his brother. Gregory is a pretty cool character. While, you know, Wirt, this is something I forgot to mention about him, Wirt is, like, he looks at the world as, like, this awful place, which it's always been. The world's always been a terrible place, and today it hasn't even changed at all. Not that much. But yeah, while he looks at the world in, like, a black and white, like, view, like, Gregory, like, he looks at the world like it's a rainbow. He's such an open-minded, enthusiastic, like innocent little child, which is what most kids are, like, you know, when they're really young. They're always open-minded and enthusiastic, and I think that's, you know, what he is. And he's such a cutie, and he's so, like, innocent from when compared to this otherwise cruel world. He's literally too innocent for this otherwise, cruel world. Yeah, I think I preferred Gregory over Wirt. I still think he's, you know, a better character, because he's, you know, he's more interesting and more innocent than Wirt is, when compared to his constant moaning over his brother, to the point where it looks like he's not going to hate him, but then does secretly care for him. What I think of the last ever character, Beatrice. Oh, the last of the main characters. Beatrice is worse than Greg. Seriously, in my opinion, I hate her. To be honest with you, I hate her a lot. I know I said that just a few seconds ago, but I don't care. She is the worst. She's always bitching to Wirt, and always saying just the most stupidest crap. She never shuts up for 1 second. And, you know, she's like somewhat manipulative to her. I do like how in the end she does forgive them, and does, you know, Wirt gives her the little bird scissors to, like, you know, free her family from, like, you know, like, from, turning them, like, back into humans and not bluebirds anymore, but throughout in the miniseries, in my opinion, she was the worst. She constantly, in my opinion, from what I can remember, it's been a while since I've seen Over the Garden Wall, but, honestly, like, she's just so annoying. She never shuts up for 1 second. She's always shagging, words and stuff, and it's just so annoying that I would rather kill this bluebird and just eat her. So yeah, in my opinion, Wood is a pretty bland character. Greg is actually pretty good, and Beatrice is just the worst. So, overall, that is why, and overall, I think Over the Garden Wall is a pretty unique show. It's truly, absolutely great at the animation and the, the horror and the suspense and some stuff. I think it's an overall pretty good miniseries, so good job on you, Over the Garden Wall. And now, on to the last show we have, and that is Hilda. Now, I didn't really talk that much. The reason why I'm putting this at number 1 is because while Over the Garden Wall and 12 Forever had their pretty good stuff, like, there's something I forgot to mention, but, I forgot to mention, about Esther, and during the 12 Forever section, I actually thought Esther was a pretty cool, like, character, because she's so, like, she's, like, the rational one. She's, like, super rational and is, like, super into, like, romantic stuff. And I just like her. She's more, like, I don't know. I think it's because she's more girlier than Reggie. I don't know. But, I mean, while 12 Forever was, like, great at its animation point, and especially with Esther, I think she was one of my favorite from the show. And Over the Garden Wall had its, suspense and stuff. Hilda, I think with Hilda, with the show Hilda, and, the graphic novels and stuff, I think I had a more, like, the deeper connection with Hilda than any of the other 2 shows. I mean, that doesn't make them terrible shows, but I feel like I just connected with Hilda more, and I remember just absolutely just enjoying every episode I just enjoyed every episode. I loved, seeing what mischief Hilda and Frida and David could get up to. And the animation was just stunning. Like, absolutely unique. Absolutely stunning and unique to look at. The music and the composition was, great. And Hilda is just such a great little kid to, to, like, watch. She's so open-minded and adventurous and stuff, and while Frida is sort of the neat freak, bland character, while both, she and David are, like, sort of bland like Wirt, but here's the thing, just like Wirt and Frida and David, I don't know why, but I feel like every time I see them, I feel like they're, like, real interesting people that I would love to hang out with in real life. I feel like they feel like people that I would kill to hang out with and stuff. It's just a shame that they're fictional and not real. And yeah, as I was saying before, like, while, Frida's, like, the neat freak, perfectionist type of bland, type of girl, pretty bland and stuff, and David's the scaredy cat, like, Wirt. I think they're both pretty bland and generic and stuff. I still, like, I don't know what Luke Pearson does, but I don't know what Luke and his writing team does, but I feel like every time I see them, I feel like those are real interesting characters that I actually get, like, I get, like, interested in. And, like, the monsters and the creatures that they made are also interesting. Like, there's, like, this little, like, sea, there's, like, this little ocean spirit that appears in, like, rivers and stuff. There are, like, these little faces with clouds and, like, wolves, the creatures, like, the little orange, yellowish creatures that appear throughout the show, and the Maras, and the Black Hound's also pretty cool. although slightly anticlimactic. There's something a bit anticlimactic about, like, the whole Black Hound thing, in that, you know, it's foreshadowed a lot to be, like, this threatening, like, creature. I feel like it's, like, you know, it's threatening, and it's, like, trying to be this, like, this scary creature and stuff, but in the end, it's just, it gets defeated so easily. Like, all it needs to happen is this Nissa, which just happens to be Hilda's Nissa, like, you know, to show up and be licked, and, like, that's it. And to be honest, I thought that was a pretty anticlimactic way to end that little, you know, character's, job. Yeah, apart from that little anticlimactic, like, arc, and the inconsistent, kind of confusing arc for Frida, well, not really confusing, but a little bit, like, definitely inconsistent, because a lot of people don't know about Frida's arc, not that very well. So, yeah, that was my ranking for, all 3 of the TV shows that I've actually managed to successfully watch. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. Anyway, guys, the Introvert Audible is out. Bye.